Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I just unboxed the new flagship from Oppo, the Find X3 Pro, and I wanted to give some further hands-on with this device. Now, big thanks to Oppo for sponsoring this video and sending over the Find X3 Pro for us to check out. The Find X3 Pro has an updated design along with a lot of new features, including a microscope lens on their camera, so I'll show off some of the testing that I did with that. It was a lot of fun to use, along with a billion color display, and you can fine tune the colors based on your specific color vision. We'll also check out a lot more with the Find X3 Pro from Oppo, so let's get started. To begin, let's take a look at the design of the Oppo Find X3 Pro. Right away, after I took it out of the box, I noticed how light it actually is, especially when you compare it to other flagships out there. It does not weigh that much, which is great when you're laying down using your phone. Some other flagships are starting to get fairly heavy, making it a little cumbersome to use. They do have an updated design for the phone. I really like the subtle green accent they put on the power button on the side, and then flipping it over on the back is a look at their new camera bump. This is definitely different than a lot of other phones out there. It looks more sleek and natural since the phone back just sort of ramps up to where the camera is, whereas on other phones, it just seems sort of slapped on to the back of the phone. This one is definitely more natural and feels in line with the phone. With that sleek design, you also get an IP68 rating for dust and water resistance, exactly what you'd expect in a flagship device, along with stereo speakers tuned by Dolby Atmos. Worth mentioning, you get a 65-watt charging brick included in the box of the Find X3 Pro, which Oppo says you can go from 0 to 40% in around 10 minutes. When it comes to performance of the Find X3 Pro, you have just about all the flagship specs you're looking for. The Snapdragon 888 processor from Qualcomm with that 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM and 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. The combination of all of those make it for an extremely fast device. You're able to play any of the high-end games very easily. They even have a game space where you can monitor the device, including the frames per second you're getting in the game, and changing and tweaking a few things to make your gaming experience even better. And it's not just great for gaming, you can also do a lot of heavy multitasking, so even with a game running in the background, you can swap very quickly between all of the apps, and then when you add on that 120 hertz display, it makes everything just so snappy and smooth. Next up, let's move on to one of my favorite features about the Find X3 Pro, and that is the billion color display they have on it. This is a 6.7-inch AMOLED display at 3216 by 1440 resolution. This is also a 120 hertz adaptive refresh rate screen. For those of you that are unfamiliar, the higher the refresh rate, the smoother everything is going to seem on the display. As an example, here's a side-by-side comparison of 60 hertz and 120 hertz enabled. This is in slow motion. For me, this is a very noticeable difference, and I can't go back to a 60 hertz display anymore. I have to have at least a 120 hertz display on the phone that I use. And don't forget, this is a billion color display. Jumping into settings, there's a lot of different screen color modes you can go to between vivid, gentle, cinematic, brilliant. This display can show over 100% of the DCI-P3 color gamut and is HDR10 Plus certified. And the Find X3 Pro has a color vision enhancement test within the settings to calibrate your screen. There's actually 765 different calibrations for the colors on your display. So every Find X3 Pro user will get a display that is accurately tested for their color vision. Now let's get some hands-on with the camera on the Find X3 Pro. First of all, you have dual 50 megapixel wide angle and ultra wide angle lenses. Both of these lenses use the Sony IMX766, which I'm happy Oppo decided to go with, because a lot of times if you switch to the ultra wide angle lens, you get a less powerful lens out of the camera, but that's not the case with the Find X3 Pro. You have the same quality out of the main sensor and the ultra wide angle sensor. You also have a 13 megapixel telephoto lens with 5 times hybrid zoom and 20 times digital zoom. And finally, like I mentioned at the beginning, you have a 3 megapixel micro lens with 60 times magnification. It is crazy to see. It has been so fun to use. So let's take a look at some of the shots out of the Find X3 Pro. Our first shots are with the main sensor and then switching to that microscope mode. With that micro lens, you'll notice how much texture it actually shows off. And you saw earlier, it does have an LED ring around the lens to bring that light into the shot. I really like this one of that microphone and of the light. So it's really versatile in the type of shots you're getting. You can even see the pixel array on a different display, a monitor, a phone. It shows that off. I really like the different textures that show up. Again, it's just a lot of fun and a different type of camera mode to use that you don't expect out of your phone to be capable of. And I've been really happy with these shots overall. The colors are very consistent, especially between the wide angle and ultra wide angle lenses, since they use that same sensor. But images are very crisp. They have very good dynamic range. I have to say, I wish they used a little bit more zoom in their optical telephoto lens, since it is 5 times hybrid zoom. But I still can't complain about the zoom shots. They still turn out very good, and I'm glad they focused on the ultra wide angle lens being better overall, just because that is my personal preference. I use the ultra wide angle lens more than I use the telephoto lens. And finally, a quick look at the camera app. There is an AI mode to enhance the scene that you're looking at, and it will detect what it is you're looking at. It does shoot 4K 60. There is a night mode for those darker shots, portrait mode as well. And finally, all of the extra modes, including the expert mode, which is just a pro mode where you can fine-tune your shot to your liking. So that's everything I want to talk about for now with the Find X3 Pro from Oppo. Again, the display has been excellent. Love the color accuracy, and the fact that you can actually change the colors based on your personal vision is pretty incredible. On top of that, you have all of the specs you come to expect from a flagship phone, along with that very versatile camera system and the super fun to use microscope lens. Anyways, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the Find X3 Pro. More videos to come soon, so be sure to subscribe. Be sure to click the thumbs up button. And as always, thanks for watching.